All right, welcome everyone on this beautiful Friday morning. Welcome to Kaleidoscope Day 2. So thank you so much for taking the time, our participants taking the time to be with us today. Today is a really exciting morning and I'm so happy to be here. We are going to examine a phenomenal array of very talented panelists from our all three libraries, Perth, Pembroke, and Woodroffe. So I'm excited to ensure that we get off to a good start. So just in terms of the logistics, and before I turn it over to Annabella to introduce our wonderful panelists, please note that this session will be recorded for future reference for all of our AC employees. So if you do not wish to be recorded, we would ask that you take the time now to please turn your camera off or your video off. Everyone is on mute, but if you do wish to answer or ask a question to any of our panelists, we will certainly look for your physical or virtual hand, and we will ask that you put yourself on unmute. And please, we encourage you to use the chat space. We will be ensuring that we flag the facilitators to ensure your questions are all answered. And at the end of Kaleidoscope, we will be giving everyone the opportunity to give us some feedback with a questionnaire. Please ensure you give us some great feedback so we can help revise, make the changes for Kaleidoscope next year. And without further ado, I'm going to stop my share. I'm going to ensure that Annabella has her slide deck ready and that she can have the opportunity to introduce everyone. Thank you, Annabella.
Okay, 1 second. You guys are seeing my screen, huh? Sorry, I have, here you go. Okay, so I'm going to introduce the panel. So from Pembroke campus, we have Patricia Kim. She's the librarian coordinator. For Perth campus, we have Kendra Swallow, library technician. From Ottawa campus, we have Amber Schwartz-Toll, coordinator from the Student Learning Center. Brenda Mahoney, library coordinator instruction. Maureen Shepard, library coordinator in collections and systems. Megan McKinley, library technician OER contact. And Travis Winwood, library technician copyright contact. So we're going to start with the Student Learning Center. So Amber will start the presentation.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, Annabella. Can everybody hear me? Okay, wonderful. Awesome. So my name is Amber Schwartz-Toll. I'm the coordinator of the Student Learning Center. And today we just want to talk really briefly about the services that the SLC, Student Learning Center, has for learners at all three campuses and online as well. So all of the services that we're mentioning today apply to anybody, any learner at any campus. The three things that we're going to be highlighting are our online coaching, our online tutoring, and our online workshops, as of course all of our services are online for the fall and probably for winter term as well. So coaching is free support for fundamental subjects that can be found across multiple programs. So for example, things like math, writing, computers, ESL, and even anatomy and biology. These coaches are experts in their field and are able to help students regardless of what program they're in. And we offer some of these services on a daily basis. Math, writing, ESL are all on a daily basis. Some of the other ones, computers and writing, are multiple times a week. But it's just a really fantastic service that students can access at any point. There's no limit to how many they can access. And depending on the service, some are drop-in, which means there's no pre-registration required. They can just show up and stay as long as they need, or they can make a one-on-one appointment. Our online peer tutoring is something most people are familiar with, and so it's one-on-one support for students who have already completed a course and have done academically well in that course, and are able to help lower level students with that particular course. So tutors don't complete homework and they don't complete assignments, but they help guide students through the content and the understanding of the subject. There is a cost, it's $8 an hour for students to access peer tutoring, but we do have financial support available for students through sponsorships through different departments across the college. So for example, financial aid, the International Education Center, Center for Accessible Learning are all different departments that can sponsor students to cover that $1 an hour cost. And then finally, just a brief mention of our amazing online workshops. Our workshops cover academic skills, digital skills, and study skills. So everything from on the digital skills, how to use Zoom, how to use Brightspace, how to use Microsoft 365. The academic skills, and Brenda will speak a little bit more to this around things like how to avoid plagiarism and doing research. And then the study skills, everything from time management to stress management, prepping for exams, everything like that. The schedule is posted a month in advance, and students can take a look and see every workshop that's coming up, and registration is really simple. All the information is found on our website, and we do have our chat Monday to Friday from 10 to 5 for students to get any immediate one-on-one support to access any of these services. So thank you so much, and I'll pass it on to the next person.
Thank you, Megan. Amber, sorry. So now it's Megan's turn. She's going to talk about the subject guides and open educational resources.
Hi, everyone. I'm Megan McGinley, and I'm a library technician at the Ottawa campus. I do a lot of work on creating and maintaining many of our library subject guides. We have close to 140 guides right now, ranging across 20 different topics. And our subject guides are basically online collections of recommended resources. These can be ebooks, online videos, journals, articles, or web resources. So our guides not only cover resources for specific programs, but also essential skills for students, such as tools for online learning, citing sources, avoiding plagiarism, research, and more. We also have a designated faculty and staff guide, including subject area guide pages that cover the different schools in Algonquin. Yeah, so if you browse our subject guides and you want one made for your specific program or area, you can just reach out to us and we'll be happy to help you with that. As well as working on subject guides, I'm also the main library contact for open educational resources. Sorry, I have a bit of a cold right now. So OER are learning, teaching, and research materials available in a variety of different formats. They are available for anyone to use at no cost. These resources exist in the public domain and are licensed in a manner that gives you pre-existing permission to customize others' work. So if anyone has any questions about how to use open educational resources or are just interested in learning more, they can contact me directly by email, or I can also set up a one-on-one online support session for you. Thanks. These are just a few resources that I recommend checking out if you're interested. We have an OER for faculty guide that's very in-depth. The Learning Portal has a really great OER toolkit. Creative Commons just kind of explains the licenses and how to use them, as well as just a few open textbook resources. Thanks.
Thank you, Megan. So next is Maureen talking a little bit about library collections.
Hi, everybody. Good morning. So yeah, just a quick couple of minutes on some of the collections that we have available in the library. For the most part, our library collection is subscription based. So we have large database collections like that you can like listed here. So we have a ebook collection. So we may have a large database that includes ebooks or primarily ebooks, and then online video collections. Most of our databases would probably be academic journal information. We also have different types of resources, database format. So we could have things on, we could have encyclopedias, we have information on pharmaceuticals, we have case law, we have automotive repair database. So there's all sorts of things in our databases, not just books or journal articles. After the, other than the subscriptions, we do have a little bit of money for one-time purchases. So we will buy some books, both physical in-house books and electronic. Some of the electronic books, we will buy some individual titles that are not available or difficult to get within some of these larger packages, databases that we buy that come from large publishers or they're aggregators. Aggregators bring together collections from different publishers, but not everything's available that way, and sometimes we can get a single title if we can find a place to host it. So on the next slide, just a quick look at the library by the numbers. We really have only about 40,000 books right now in-house, and our ebook collection is up to 275,000 ebooks in these large collections. So you'll see that our collection is primarily electronic, which is good for even before the current situation where we're all online. Even before that, we have a lot of online students. And so at least online resources are good for both on campus and off campus students. So serve everybody. Our collection has been online for many years. So, and right now we're down to about 10% of our budget being spent on in-house collection, and pretty much everything else is online. And just to note that the online collection can be used you can link to the library's online collection from Brightspace, so that these resources are available for you to use. You don't have to worry about getting copyright. For the most part, these resources can be linked to from your Brightspace course platform. And we would love to have feedback. We welcome feedback from faculty and staff. We have selectors in the library that will review course outlines, course descriptions, and look at course assignments to try to get a better idea of the resource requirements. But we're not subject experts, and there's no substitute for a subject expert. So please come in, come into the library, see our collection, help us sort of recognize gaps that are there, replace and update information that's perhaps no longer relevant. And to do that, if you want to contact us, we have a list here of all the library liaisons. So each area in the Ottawa campus, each school in the Ottawa campus has a library liaison that you can contact, and our Perth and Pembroke liaisons or contacts are here listed as well, and they're with us today, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Maureen. So Brenda will come and talk to us about library instructions and online workshops.
Hi, good morning. I hope everyone had some tea, but yet is excited about the Halloween weekend, socially distancing and dressing up in your home. Excellent. I'm going to talk about the things that I do all day, and that is educating students, educating faculty about what kind of things we have in our collections, and supporting the faculty in the classroom. So yes, you can invite a librarian to come to your classroom, or a library technician. So Kendra is doing a lot of education on the Perth campus by Zoom on the special projects that they're having there. And Patty is running full-time pretty well. It sounds like all 3 staff at Pembroke campus are in classes at the beginning of the term. Pembroke and Perth have library instruction as part of the first-year program. At Woodruff, we have a little bit of a challenge with that, in that we do need to be invited into your class. And it's a benefit to us to be invited into your class, as well as to your students. We can give a basic overview of what the library has. We can actually do a specialty prepared session on information literacy, evaluating information, or APA citation, IEEE citation for your class. We can do a specialty project that talks to supporting research you're doing. By us doing that, we have a better knowledge of what kind of resources you need, and also what kind of projects you're giving. So when we are purchasing or thinking about getting products, we can think about, oh, we have a gap here, let's fill it. So it is very beneficial to have library staff involved with the courses and the research your students are doing. And we do love being invited in. And right now we're being invited in by Zoom, so we're twice as efficient. You can book us for your online class. There's a form on the library website, but also we can support faculty who want to learn more about our collection, what we have. Many faculty like doing the library instruction themselves, so we can help prepare you for that. Or as Maureen said, we can help you harvest links from our projects, from our databases to put into Brightspace to keep your course relevant and current. So you can make it a one-on-one appointment for us for that as well. We have an online form for that. Also, though, if we're not there or we don't have the time for you at the time that you need, we're very flexible. The other thing we offer is a lot of the information literacy workshops available online through Zoom. A student would sign up for those. Megan also mentioned that they were available as well as Amber. So they are available through our website. The students can see the schedule for the workshops through Brightspace as well. We try to make sure we have the right presenters for each topic. So we have coaches, for example, that present on presenting skills, writing skills and math skills. We have computer people that present on using Zoom, for example. We have counselors that do the presentations on test anxiety and preparing to study and taking notes. And we have the library staff that present on information literacy topics and using the library collection. So many of these workshops can be presented in class as well, or you can recommend your students take one of the classes, particularly if they do not get an overview into what the library has. We do offer a workshop in Intro to Library Resources or Intro to the OneSearch that I do recommend that students take if they are doing research within their courses. We're pretty happy with the feedback we're getting. That we go through phases where the signing up for the courses is very high for the workshops, and then it goes quiet for a little bit, and then it goes high again. I think the peaks and valleys are between students doing research, putting in the research, getting their marks back, and realizing maybe they need a little bit more help. So we're going up again right now. The Intro to Library is one of the basic ones that we offer. It just introduces students to the idea of what the library has for them. And I do try to talk to the students from different programs because I look and see what programs are attending. The APA workshop, this year we're offering APA Boot Camp. It's a 2-hour workshop. It's pretty intense, but we try to make it fun. And we all congratulate ourselves when we make it through that session. And evaluating information using the CRAP test, CRAAP. It's silly, it's fun, but it's memorable. So we feel that we're taking the feedback from the students and redeveloping and reevaluating how we present, what we present, when we present it. So we're working all the time to make the workshops better.
Thank you, Brenda. And now Travis is going to talk to us about copyright.
Hello, everybody. I'm Travis. I'm a library technician here in the Ottawa campus. I'm your main contact for copyright-related questions. I am not a lawyer, so I cannot provide any legal advice, but what I can do is provide you with a guidance. So what are the ways I can help you? I can help identify if a work you want to use is protected by copyright, assess your activities with that work, whether they can fall within fair dealing or within our license agreements, terms of use of certain of the websites, as well as any digital locks or protection measures that may be on the work. It can also help provide a risk assessment when you're using protected works and help you guide making your own assessments and trying to avoid misconceptions, incorrect interpretations, and navigate the uncertainty of moving what was a physical lesson plan into the virtual environment. And next slide. So along with myself, we have some additional resources here in the library. So internally, we've got our copyright subject guide. Megan's OER guide, of course, the copyright policy, if you're interested in what the college has to say. I've provided 2 links here to a couple of our licensing information. So the first one's Access Copyright, which gives you a little bit more flexibility when you're wanting to use a copyright protected work if it's within their repertoire. So that link will lead you to the repertoire lookup tool. And of course, you can always contact me for help on using those sources. The second link is the library e-resource vendors. So as Brenda mentioned, or Maureen mentioned, the most of what you can find in our database is quite linkable. Depending on what activity you're using, there might be different permissions. So that tool will help you know which activities are covered and not. Externally, I love partnering out the Learning Portal. They have a great copyright guide with a lot of fun videos and modules. If you're interested in how to protect your own work, the Canadian International, of course we're recording when I goof. The CIPO office will help you learn what rights you have. And of course, the Canadian Copyright Act is a large document will help you navigate some of the different guides. Thank you. And that's it for me. I'll stop goofing up now. Okay, so why is this all important? I like to say copyright is not a mathematical formula, it's politics. Just because something is less than 10% doesn't mean using it is going to be fair. Sometimes you can be unfair and be well below that 10% mark, or sometimes you can be slightly above the 10% mark and still be fair. There's a lot of different factors that come into it, and I can help guide you through those and make sure that we're using copyright protected works in a safe manner. Every day we get new information coming through, whether it's through legislation like the Copyright Act's update we're still waiting on, a few years late. Trade laws such as NAFTA 2.0, which will extend copyright protection from life plus 50, our current system, to a life plus 70 system like the US. Case decisions, we're waiting on the York U and Access Copyright going to the Supreme Court, which will have a big impact on our fair use guides at the college. So we're eagerly awaiting the result of that. And of course, as I mentioned, public and political opinion has great sway through the whole process of whether something is going to be fair sometimes and maybe not other times. Great. Thanks.
Thank you, Travis. So thank you very much to all our panelists. And now we're ready. If you have any questions, if you want to ask a particular question to a panelist, now is your chance. Francesco, you can go ahead and ask a question.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for this. I don't know if this is a reasonable or fair question to ask, but I had a thought and I was wondering if you'd be open to something like this, and whomever the right person would be. Do you think it's reasonable or the right approach if for some of my courses, say, where there's a lot of research happening because there might be a capstone type course, it's difficult sometimes to coordinate having someone from the library join in via Zoom, or to simply put a link to library resources in Brightspace because students just glaze over. Do you think it's okay if I were to propose to the right person, if we could, say, do a Zoom type interview to be recorded, that then we could post, say, to our Brightspace page, And I mean, this would be something, say, choreographed ahead of time, or, figured out ahead of time so that it wasn't like a gotcha style interview, but something that would be tailored to the specific needs, say, of certain courses in our program. Is this something you think that we could?
I like that idea. I like that idea. I like the fact that, offline, I guess myself and the professor could talk about, okay, tell me about the type of research you're doing, and I can show you some resources, because it'd be much more interesting than me just running through a taping of Intro to Library. I think you're not going to get students to really get into that as much as your professor, because they really take everything that you guys say as like gospel truth. So that adds a little bit of, you're saying that library has something to offer by being there in the interview video. And it's a nice concept. And you're saying, well, if a student was doing this or that, and then we could go through some resources that way. And as long as it's kept short, I think the video will be viewed by students.
Okay, so then to springboard on that, I saw who say my contact would be for our department, big picture. Would that person be the right person to start this with?
You can probably just contact me.
You got it, Brenda.
Yeah. And I will of course touch base with your contact. But yeah, so I'm the one that usually goes into the classroom.
Lovely.
And it's recorded. So Francesco, you will follow up with Brenda too.
Darn it.
Thank you.
From Pembroke, I can provide an example of that, Francesco. So for the Police Foundations program, there's an Introduction to Research course, as well as the Standard Communications one for level 1. And the two professors wanted to work together on a joint project requiring the same level of ability to conduct library research. Initially, they asked me, could I come into their Zoom classes? But then they thought, well, why do that? Let's ask Patty to prepare YouTube videos of like a Zoom recording of herself tailored to the specifics of the scaffolded research project. But at the same time, the comms professor also wanted it to be slightly generalized so that he could use it for his other comms sections as well. So it can be really customized for faculty for sure. But I would agree that we are getting more requests for that asynchronous option, especially if you have students here and there and everywhere, of course. And then even more so if you can apply it to a couple of courses that require the same specific databases or research strategies. And so right about now is the kind of time where we're getting those instruction requests. And by the way, I do look more professional in my Zoom recordings too. It's Halloween, everybody, just in case anyone isn't aware of the date tomorrow. So Garth/Wayne's World Garth says, thumbs up to library instruction requests. Of course, like I'm working with the Pembroke campus faculty, but what you just described, I think is something that we're going to see more of for the library team overall, for sure.
Go ahead, Nicole.
Sorry, because I'm a co-host, I can't raise my digital hand. Thank you for that very informative presentation, folks. And Megan raised a really important point in terms of curating and booking appointments. I'm wondering, because you folks are probably going to be overwhelmed from employees and faculty, is there a system or a process in terms of reaching out to you to help curate for faculty and for employees programs, content for their classes, for learners? Do faculty just reach out to you, or do employees just reach out to you? Or is there an online form similar, Brenda, that you were mentioning to the Zoom workshops for your classes?
There are the two forms, but reaching out by email is also fine. But the forms are nice because with the form, it's if you just want us to come in. The form kind of walks through when you want us, what kind of topic, and it sets the date, because sometimes getting into your Zoom, getting the date is the hard part, right? So the form is great for booking that date and an alternative in case, and then we get back to you. But if you want to do something beforehand and explore an idea, like Francesco's idea, contacting us directly is fine too. So when we send out the handouts, you'll see the links in it for booking a one-on-one or booking a classroom visit. So either will work. And
That's
if
great.
Perth and Pembroke that way, we'll make sure Perth and Pembroke get that as well.
Thank you, Brenda.
Also by email, like the library email is always available, and you know, we will get the right person to reply to the email. So they don't need to go around the website looking for anything. I just sending an email to the library, we will know where it goes.
And I think we had a chat question about
New.
copyright.
Yes.
Thank you. Sorry, Nicole.
Great, thank you for the question, Anu. It's a great question. Typically, the timelines for copyright is when we're assessing using one book or another, that 10% is for the academic term, specifically for that course. So if you're using it for a level 1 course, when you get to the next term, so term starting September 1st, going to August 31st, then if in the same course, you could use a different 10%. In a different course, it doesn't have any impact. So your example here of using a level 1 book in level 2, yes, you can reuse that same book. A whole different 10% is a whole different assessment. The original use in level 1 doesn't have much impact, except for the cases where a publisher may look at our activities and the same professor ends up copying a large percentage of the book over the whole course. They could look at that as a systematic copying, and there could be some complaints there. But in your example of using a bit in level 1 and then a little bit in level 2 is perfectly fine under copying. Did that answer your question, Anu? Excellent.
Thank you, Travis. So Nicole, and I'm not sure, like, I don't think there's more questions.
Do you want to wait just a few more moments? I mean, we have a great team here, Perth, Pembroke, and Woodruff campus. I'm wondering if there's any burning questions, folks, either specific for your department or perhaps for your own professional PD that you might want to learn more of. We'll just keep it open for another moment or so, and then I'd like to officially thank you folks, if that's okay.
If you've ever wondered if we have a resource for that, now's your time to ask.
Since it's silent, I'm going to jump on my soapbox for 1 minute and just say, from a copyright perspective, the biggest thing I touch base with people is to make sure that they're citing. Cite, just like we ask our students. One, it allows us to backtrack if there's any question about why we used a resource, where we got it from. And secondly, it's really great for anyone who inherits that material, so they can backtrack and make sure that the material is covered or perhaps was original. One of our biggest questions right now is coming from faculty who have inherited a lot of material and they have no idea whether it was copied from a book, or was it written originally. So we end up having to revise a lot of work where perhaps we shouldn't have need to. I'll now get off my soapbox.
I'm wondering, and this question is for everyone on the panel, what are your common inquiries in addition to what Travis mentioned on copyright in terms of subject matter guide, coaching, peer tutoring, online curating? Is there anything that might need to be clarified for folks that is a common inquiry or question to the library?
The one thing I could jump in, it's Maureen, collection wise, we do sometimes get requests for a particular book in electronic format. And excuse me, it is sometimes difficult for libraries to get, not everything is available in ebook for libraries to purchase. We are not, libraries are not the end user. We then have to lend to somebody else. So it has to sit on a platform with digital rights attached to it so that the publisher can but be comfortable with selling a book to a library that will then be distributed and not have it actually widely distributed so that they never have to sell another copy of their book. So those kinds of, and particularly right now when we're mostly trying to go for online resources, not everything is available for the library to purchase. And that is one stumbling block that we have. We generally, unless a textbook you're using is a common, especially in the computing era, lots of just basic computing books are used as textbooks. But when you go into the standard textbooks from your Pearson and Nelson and McGraw-Hill standard textbooks, they're generally not available for libraries to purchase as an ebook. They just don't sell to libraries. So it's just something to think about when you're choosing books for your students. The library can't necessarily get access to everything. They sell on an individual basis, but not to a library.
Thanks, Maureen. I don't know if there are any more questions, but we will take this opportunity now to officially thank our phenomenal panelists. On behalf of the Kaleidoscope Committee, we would like to thank Brenda, Amy, Travis, Maureen, Annabella, Megan, and Amber. Thank you so much for spending your Friday Halloween Patty, morning with us. Thank you so much for being here, and to our participants for your questions and inquiries and for being here this morning. On behalf of our appreciation and our thanks to you, a donation has been made to the Emergency Student Aid Bursary. Our learners are in desperate need of support, and so if we can encourage them in this way, we have done this in appreciation for you folks presenting today. So thank you very, very much for being here. Again, I want to stress that the conference recording of this session will be available for everyone to use as a resource afterwards in our conference shell on the Employee Learning site, and the highlight in terms of the keynote will be available as well on the Kaleidoscope website. Surveys in terms of feedback will also be given out to participants and facilitators so we can help make improvements to the future. Thank you so much for spending your morning with us. You could have been anywhere in your house today, but you chose to be with us. And for that, we are eternally grateful. Thank you very much, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.